Good morning, Standard 10th. In the last class, we studied about interdependence of the three sectors, that is primary, secondary and tertiary on each other. We also studied the definition of gross domestic product, and then we discussed that why monetary value of goods and services are used and not numbers. Now let us start with today's class. So students, today's class we'll start with the definition of gross domestic product. Now we know to calculate gross domestic product, for the first thing that has to be done is to calculate the value of goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year. Then similarly, the value of goods, final goods and services produced in other two sectors, in all the sectors are calculated and are added. And then the final value that we get is the GDP. So GDP is the value of all final goods and services produced within a country during a particular year. Within a country means within the boundaries of one country. Students, in the last class when I told you all the definition of gross domestic product, I said that the terms value and final goods are very important. So we discussed that why value is used and not numbers in the last class. So today we'll focus on final goods and services, the term final, that why is it so that while calculating GDP, the value of only final goods are used and not intermediate goods. But before studying this, we need to understand that what are final and intermediate goods and what are their features. So let us start. Students, an intermediate good is a product that is used to produce a finished product or final goods. Now what are final goods? Students, final goods are those goods that are bought by consumers for consumption, and so final goods are also known as consumer goods. These goods we can say are the end result of production or manufacturing process, and so these don't go through any further production. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Students, if we talk about salt, then it can be a finished product because it is directly consumed by consumers, and it can be an intermediate good also because salt is used in the manufacturing of different items. So students, from this example we can conclude that it is not the commodity but the use of commodity which decides whether it is a final good or an intermediate good. If we are using a particular good for consumption, then it will be a final good. But if that good is being used in the production of any other good, then that particular good will be termed as intermediate good. So now that we know the meaning of intermediate and final goods, let us have a look at few points of differences between these two goods. So students, the first difference is on the basis of their definition that we have already discussed. Just go through it. Coming to the second point, so it's written that final goods are not resold again and again for the process of production, whereas intermediate goods are resold and purchased a number of times in a year. So students, this we have already studied that since intermediate goods are used in the production of final goods, so that they are resold again and again at different stages of production, these are required. So these are resold and purchased number of times, whereas final goods, they have reached to the ultimate consumer, and so these are not resold again. Point number 3, final goods do not go through further production. Students, this also I told you all that final goods are the end result of production process. So these do not go through further production, whereas intermediate goods, they go through value addition as they pass through different stages of production. So intermediate goods are required at different stages of production, and at every stage of production some value is added. Now students, talking about this term value addition, so this you will understand where I will discuss this term in the later part of the chapter. Number 4, value of these goods are added to country's GDP, whereas value of intermediate goods are not included in the calculation of GDP. Students, this we have studied when I told you all the definition of GDP. But we have not studied the reason yet. We will be studying this after this topic. So for now, if we talk about the definition of GDP, so from that definition, we can differentiate between final goods and intermediate goods, that final goods are used in the calculation of GDP, whereas intermediate goods value are not used in the calculation of GDP. The reason is yet to be studied. And the last one is an example of each. So final goods, if milk bought from the market and consumed, so that is a final good because that has reached to the consumer. Whereas if we talk about intermediate goods, so the example could be that milk bought from the market and is used in making biscuits for selling. So here we can see that milk is further being processed in the manufacturing of some other good. So in this case, milk will be termed as intermediate good. Now we will study that how GDP is calculated by using value added method. Let us understand this table. In this table, we will be discussing the different stages in the production of bread. Suppose there is a farmer who produces wheat. So wheat will be his output. And so in the second column, I have written wheat. Now, in this example, students, we will assume that no input has been used in the production of this wheat. You must be thinking that there are inputs that are used in the production of wheat, even though wheat is a raw material. Of course, it is used, students. But if we start considering that, if we'll consider those inputs, then in the production of those inputs also some other products must have been used, some other inputs must have been used. And then it will be a very complex table. So for our convenience, we are assuming that the farmer, the input that the farmer has used, the value is 0. No input he is using in the production of wheat. Now, the value of output, that is the fourth column, I have written 500. This value of output is the amount at which the farmer will be selling his output. So I have written here 500. And now coming to column number 5, that is value added. Students, what is value added? So it refers to the amount by which the value of an article is increased at each stage of its production. And it is calculated by value of output minus value of input. So for the farmer, the value of input we have assumed to be 0. So what will be the value added for farmer? It will be 500 minus 0, that is rupees 500. Now coming to the second stage of production. Now suppose this farmer sells his output, that is wheat, to a miller. So this miller will be processing wheat and will be making flour out of it. So this will be his output, that is miller's output. The value of input for miller will be rupees 500. Why? Because miller bought the wheat for rupees 500 from the farmer. And now suppose the output that miller has produced, he is selling it at rupees 700. So what will be the value of output? It will be 700. And then value added will be 200, because I told you all value added means value of output minus value of input. So 700 minus 500, rupees 200. I hope the first two rows are clear to you all. Now coming to the final stage of production. The miller will sell his output to a baker for the process of production for making bread. Now, for the baker, the output is bread and the value of input is 700, because what is the input that baker will be using? The baker will be using flour, and Miller sold his output at rupees 700. So this 700 will be baker's value of input. And then suppose the baker is selling his output, that is bread, for rupees 1000. So what will be the value added for baker? It will be 1000 minus 700. It will be rupees 300. Students, value of output for each stage becomes value of input for the following stage. So now I hope this table is clear to everybody. Now, if I ask you all that what is the GDP on the basis of this table, then you all will say that it is rupees 1000, because students, we have studied that to calculate GDP, the value of final good is taken, and here the final good is bread and its cost is rupees 1000. So that will be our GDP. Now, even if we calculate the GDP by using value added method, that is sum of all values by which the amount of input has been increased, that is 500 plus 200 plus 300, then also we get 1000. So students, through this table we got to know that how GDP is calculated by using value added method. Now students, suppose instead of calculating GDP by using value added method, we add the value of all the outputs that are produced. So we will add rupees 500, 700 and 1000. And then the amount that we'll get will be rupees 2200. Now this amount will be much more than the actual value of final good produced, that is rupees 1000. Why? Because students, now we are adding the amount of intermediate goods twice. So in order to avoid the problem of double counting, we only add the values of final goods and services produced in a country in a particular year for the calculation of GDP. Students, the value of final goods already includes the value of intermediate goods. So students, that's all for today. For your assignment, please read the chapter till the topic that I have taught and also start preparing for your test. Thank you students.